Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, November 13, 2023, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call this week, Wednesday, around 9 p.m. Eastern. Each day, which you still have your family here, healthy and alive, is truly a precious time to be treasured. Learn how to love your friends and family, accepting them exactly as they are. Appreciate the unique bed of thorny roses you've been gifted, and know that if they are really annoying you, don't have to continue laying on them. This life is a school of learning to respect and honor ourselves, enjoying each moment in the very precious and short time we have here. There is a very sacred and spiritual journey we are each on. More often we can see this and appreciate our lessons, the easier and juicier life becomes. Love without courage and wisdom is sentimentality. Courage without love and wisdom is foolhardy. Wisdom without love and courage is cowardice. The one who has love, courage, and wisdom moves the world. Amon Hennessy. The courage to live this life is not something we were born with. We enter this world with curiosity, innocence, openness. We develop courage along the way. Courage has slowly grown within by overcoming each one of our anxieties, insecurities, fears. Courage is like a muscle that we must build, grow, and mature as we experience this life and age. If and when we do not permit courage to develop during our lifetime, we will feel dominated and devoured by this world. There must be a willingness to be strong and vulnerable at the same time. It is in our flexibility and strength that we can hold our ground for the heart to fully open. It is only from an open heart that we reach the deepest, fearless resource of our being and can bask in the divine, enlightening energy of our soul. An interesting fact about the word courage is that it comes from the old French word courage, which means heart, innermost feelings, and inner strength. When we are in touch with our heart, we feel that we can undertake anything. Real courage is just like a beating heart that is strong, consistent, resilient, and yet also soft and squishy. A healthy heart is not hard, guarded, and tough as nails. A good heart loves life and recognizes that life is not a have-to, but a massive get-to. The heart is always giving us this opportunity to be alive, deeply alive, right now, so don't miss out on it. This life is an amazing experience that we all have been temporarily gifted to enjoy. It takes real mastery over one's mind to live a truly empowered and awesome life. This level of mind mastery requires total transparency, which is the last place we would look to find courage. An often vulnerable approach has the willingness to allow every micro-truth to shine through. This unveiled nakedness is the great secret to developing the courage and strength that we need to get through life's rough time when they arrive. When we have nothing to hide, we have nothing to lose. It doesn't matter so much what the outcome is, as much as the exploration of love along the way. If you live long enough, it's guaranteed that one day you will need this transparent secret to find unstoppable courage. So you may as well start practicing now. You might have noticed that not all human beings you meet are truly alive. It takes a very brave soul to be vulnerable enough to show up and live life fully. Many people pretend they are enjoying their time here. Yet when you gaze into their eyes, they look like and act like they're dead and sleepwalking through this life, thinking themselves to be safe, free from pain, danger, or harm's way. They whittle away their time feeling lazy and avoiding life's challenges. You can see each potential reverent moment of their life slips through their fingers like water. And it feels like they wouldn't notice it or really care if everything suddenly was gone. When we face our fears and sit with our pain, we harness the simple energy inside to be ruthless with our fear, vibrantly creative in our approach, and enjoying the sweetness of being alive. We can then show up emotionally for others, be honest, open with our families, fully embrace the changes and challenges of our loved ones, enjoy how easy everything flows and everything is our teacher. We harness the ability to be foolish and risky enough to really go for our dreams. We naturally start to invest our energy in visualizing an amazingly bright, flawless future and stop judging ourselves for whatever shortcomings we were told we had. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear, Ambrose Redmond. One of the greatest accomplishments we can make in a lifetime is to never take anyone or anything for granted. Our lives are always balancing on the edge of a thin dime, and everything can be taken away in a flash. It's essential to consistently practice appreciation for what we do have and express this loving communication with everyone in our world. We must choose to become appreciation experts, remaining positive and supportive with those we care deeply about and cherish. When times are cold and dark for friends or family, it is our job to give them the best love we can give. We may not realize it now, yet the love that we share ends up being the same love we will have to give back to others and ourselves when our life feels like it's coming to an end. During this precious life, we are guaranteed the most outrageous climax when it's all over. We can enjoy the journey much more if we learn one small skill: to stop holding on to our past pain. Negative voices, arguments, criticism, and fault-finding must be released if we are going to find emotionally neutral terms within ourselves. To do this, we must choose to practice grabbing hold of the reins of our mind, train it to obey our every wish and desire. We must show the mind that we are the boss and main authority, in charge, to be respected. When the mind wanders down that deep, dark, lonely alley towards fear, we simply give it a little kick and turn up the love and inner light inside our heart. Our mind is the designer and creator of our entire life. And only when it's focused in a positive, healthy direction are we then destined to manifest truly wonderful things. Observe and know that what you see is the wheel of Maya, mind. Maya, mind. Moving round and round. Always changing. Never stopping for a moment. Know this. Know that there can be no failure. Know this and understand that your emotions are but dancing chemicals of up and down, on and off, temporary, impermanent. There is no failure if one lives in truth, simplicity, and love. Do not feel embarrassed, for you have not failed. You do not know the final outcome. Be in the present. Live in the present. That is all one can do, Babaji. Now, something really refreshing is that there is a natural healing mechanism installed in the software of our DNA, which pushes us in the direction of constant growth, healing, and survival. Our physical bodies are designed to automatically heal and cut any cuts or bruises that we have. Our minds over time tend to naturally forget and diminish mental and emotional wounds from our past, unless we tend to keep reenacting and playing out those negative emotional states. They will naturally heal on their own accord. When we are left alone in nature, in a safe, quiet environment, without any media or social contact with society, taking in only healing, positive information, eating only clean, raw, organic food, in a matter of 90 days or less, all of our mental, emotional, and even physical problems will all be gone. It is simply nature at work within our DNA, which knows how to naturally replenish, restore, and return the body-mind mechanism back to its original state, its natural state. It's like the tiny mustard seed already knows how to establish roots, grow up against gravity, reach towards the sun, and one day bear fruit and seeds for future generations. Our DNA was designed with this effortless program to heal our entire mind, body, organism. Since many of us cannot afford to pack up and leave our lives for several months at a time, we must perpetually think positively about ourselves, our lives, and future. We might hear this constant subtle war inside ourselves in the form of an attempt to focus and refocus the mind in a positive creative direction. Past subconscious wounding keeps bubbling up until it is healed. And we are all like sponges who are absorbing negative thinking patterns that we unknowingly don't see spewing from others around us. It is the law of this universe, garbage in and garbage out. We cannot afford to dwell in any negative thought patterns, as they all will manifest somewhere in our health, in our relationships, or our finances. By simply bringing awareness to only having sacred, empowering, positive, healing thoughts perpetually flowing in, we must choose to have sacred healing experiences coming out. When I look inside and see that I am nothing, that is wisdom. When I look outside and see that I am everything, that is love. And between these two, my life turns. Nisargadatta Maharaj. We are all enlightened beings. We always have been. We just don't remember. That's pretty much the way it spells out. We don't remember that we're enlightened beings. So we have an opportunity, right, we have an opportunity to enter a physical material form and learn or relearn or rediscover that we are enlightened beings. Pretty nifty. And in the enlightened state that we are, that we don't know we are, okay, we cannot help but feel totally in awe of life, of this life. We are seeing a divine intelligence which is deeply rooted and alive in all things, objects, situations, and people. It is obvious that there is a higher intelligence behind every experience, action, and occurrence. We see there is no such thing as coincidence and live in constant reverence for life, participating with ease in the natural flow, celebrating in this spiritual connection that's all around us. It's almost as if we're celebrating every day that we have this opportunity to be in these bodies and to discover or rediscover who and what we are. Now, obviously, there are many distractions. Since we have become so attached to the body and the physical material life, we don't know that we are gods. When the state of enlightened awareness is super strong within us, we stop identifying with our physical body as who we are. We instead see our infinite nature is everywhere, in all things and people. So you're walking along, you're out in this life, right? You look at people, you look at everything, and that is you. And the state of enlightenment is there. It's just that we have to uncover it. We don't have to, we choose to. Uncover it. Once we uncover it, this becomes super strong within us. And then we start to realize that we aren't the physical body. We instead see our infinite nature as everywhere in all things and people. We see it as the background, backdrop, and blackboard that this entire universe is written upon. We know we are the universal body and find every human being as a glimmering facet reflecting this unique, individuated point of consciousness within ourselves. The mirror ignites a natural realization that everyone is our teacher, pointing us back to us, the lessons and messages we most need to hear. The enlightened awareness shows us that we are not separate from anyone and anything. And we effortlessly live in a state of joy and universal harmony wherever we go. Now, you're told by your ego mind that none of that is worth understanding or perfecting. None of it. And have you ever come across someone that no matter what chaos is occurring in the outer world, there's always a point of perpetual stillness at our core? We are the center of the cyclone that no drama, violence, or death can threaten. We know our true nature is eternal and that nothing can destroy us. We are rooted within this moment so deeply that nothing can shake us or disturb our inner peace. We laugh with lightness at the trivial stresses that used to plague our daily mind as we relax deeper into the recesses of our innermost being. there's a natural understanding that all is well and unfolding exactly as it should. We see the universal perfection that is here now, and accept that it has the highest vision in sight of how life should be. We stop fighting with others outside ourselves because the fight has stopped within ourselves. That's when you stop conflicting. We stop fighting with others outside ourselves because the fight has stopped within ourselves. We are the source of nonviolence, attacking and judging nothing we see within. There's only a respect for the perfection that is constantly unfolding all around us. Knowing the mind can have its fabrications about how things should be, yet abide instead in the deeper resources of peace that know otherwise. See, we are the supreme being. We have a lot of religions, man-made religions on this planet, in the tens of thousands. And it's one of the main reasons in the way society is structured, that we don't know that. We are the supreme being. But we think ourselves to be separate. Man strives and struggles to become united. That's really strange. How do we reach the enlightened state of consciousness? It's vital to know that it is available to every one of us at all times and perpetually lies dormant at the core of our being. The more we rest with ourselves and a life free from stress, desire, and activity, the more we relax inside and soon realize its astounding power. As this brilliant gateway gradually opened, we see how easy it is to create anything and everything that we desire. Our normal awareness pierces like a laser beam through the negative beliefs which normally would have stopped us from moving forward. And we see how fun and easy it is to accept the possibility of instant manifestation. What are we programmed? We're programmed the opposite of all of this. We fight with ourselves. Some of us fight with ourselves throughout our entire lives. Then we leave. So if we fight with ourselves, why is it such a surprise to some people that we fight others? The more often we sit still, practice quieting the mind, watching the breath rise and fall, doing nothing, the more the divine consciousness awakens within us. When we stop and meditate on the source of consciousness itself, we discover that it's everywhere we are. It is our very nature. It is as bright and brilliant as the sun. It is so obvious. I mean, so obvious. That it cannot be missed. When we catch hold of it, and let go of our attachment to the outer phenomenal world, we see that this consciousness has a power which is so all-encompassing that we stop looking outside ourselves for answers and start listening to the omniscient wisdom that is constantly bubbling up from within our core. Look at your mind dispassionately. This is enough to comment. When it is quiet, you can go beyond it. Do not keep it busy all the time. Stop it and just be. If you give it a rest, it will settle down and recover its purity and strength. Constant thinking makes it decay. Nisargadatta. This all takes courage. All of this. Within the enlightened state, we can live a life that is free from doubt, fear, because we know that something universally intelligent is guiding us each step of the way. We are never bored with life, with this life. How many people you have come across that say, that life's boring, that there really isn't anything to do? Same thing every day, same thing. But they're creating all that. We're never bored with life, nor seeking gratification from our outer world, because ordinary life situations are constantly transformed into a deeply ecstatic, spiritually awakening moments. There is no attachment to our lives, to desires, to possessing anything, acquiring anything, nor escaping from any experience. We meet our lives full on, embracing the divine circumstances that we are given, facing them with complete ecstasy, because we have already found what we were searching for our entire lives. We've discovered an eternal source of peace within that cannot be shaken or disturbed by anything or anyone in the outer world. The greatest secret to finding the state of enlightened consciousness is when we get in touch with our deepest personal trauma and emotional pain. Our pain is there for a very profound spiritual reason. It pushes us to reach for the divine. We need a propulsion fuel so deep and powerful that it launches us directly into real spiritual awareness. We are so deeply asleep to our all-powerful, infinite nature on a day-to-day basis that the only thing strong enough to break through this veil is a burning desire to be free from our suffering. It is our deepest pain that liberates us, and feeling into it daily will pave the path to our highest freedom. When we get a taste of enlightened consciousness, everything changes. We see everything as a spiritual experience. We see our mind instantly stops judging this world, ourselves, and our lives, as we recognize the source of real peace here, now. We live in this world, yet truly beyond the judgments of this world. This non-judgmental approach liberates our energy to relax into the infinite healing presence of our being. This is how we attain the initial taste of our unbounded freedom. It all begins with a simple connection with our own awareness and consciousness. When we drop into what is aware, what is present, what is watching the watcher, who is observing this experience of this life, we open the doors to 100% pure awareness, free from the mind, by reopening this door again and again and again, we soon discover the highest, most blissful state of experience a human being can attain. Outer circumstances don't need so much effort to be changed, but the inner lethargy is centuries old. The unconsciousness is so primitive, its roots are so deep, that it needs a total determination on your part, a tremendous determination, a commitment, a deep involvement. You have to risk it all. Unless that happens, it is impossible to change yourself. You will remain the same. Okay. It truly depends on where we are currently at in our inner journey as to how many days, months, or years it will take before we discover our natural enlightened state. The more often we can practice resting in deep states of stillness, completely dropping all mind chatter, the faster the enlightened state will arrive at our doorstep. Ultimately, it is the commitment to ourselves that sparks the evolution to finding higher consciousness. When we are truly committed to unveiling our infinite spiritual nature, diving deeper each day into the discovery of who we truly are, it is only a short matter of time before this universe delivers us to this ultimate enlightened state of being. Knowing that which will totally satisfy our hearts and fulfill every yearning within our soul is not a small matter. When it comes down to it, the level of devotion we have to finding real freedom, the enlightened state, is a reflection of how much we actually love ourselves. Life is a test of our depth of self-love. The level of enlightenment we experience along the way determines how often and quickly we can summon the quality of unstoppable inner peace, creativity, or compassion for others. The enlightened state is the base factor that determines how successful we are on our spiritual path, and the main reason and purpose why we are all here. It is only through the infinite exploration of our inner journey that we can experience a real sense of freedom in our lives. It is an ironic thing, yet in the enlightened state we see that everyone is enlightened except ourselves. We realize that there truly is no self, and thus there is no more suffering. It may be hard to comprehend because we are so accustomed to being identified with this mind, ego, and body. Yet the more we realize our true nature, the more we discover a life that is free from any form of pain. This freedom is the great spiritual peak that we are each here to climb and conquer. One personal word of advice for you on your journey is to be patient with yourself. Many people, they get in an all-fire hurry, and it's like the rabbit, it's like the tortoise and the hare, and we get in this hurry and we scurry, and we keep scurrying, hurrying and scurrying. Period. We want things now. We want them now. We have to have them now. Can't wait. We want them now. There are 1,000 brilliant obstacles along the way on this great journey. The difference between illusion and reality is very slim, very thin, and will create many veils between the mind and your consciousness. You may forget many times that the highest state of freedom is here, available, right now, waiting for you. It's like Mount Everest, always there, yet often hidden behind the clouds. Very few have the courage to even attempt to climb. So don't give up if you don't arrive on your first or 100th crack at it. There will always be another moment in the future, or perhaps another lifetime, when you will have more desire, courage, trust, fierce, penetrating, laser-like awareness to burn through the cloudy veils of the mind. Interesting statement from Oscar Wilde. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. We carry around, every one of us carry around the secret that we're seeking. But we're seeking the secret from outside of us. And you've probably heard many stories through your lifetime. So-and-so was doing this and looking for this, and or someone telling their story. Did it? Did it fulfill them? No, because they're still looking, they're still seeking, they're still searching. But where are they searching and seeking? Outside of themselves. This is what we've been taught generation after generation, century after century, millennium after millennium. This is what we're taught. That everything you seek is outside of you. The saying, seek and you shall find. But it's all ego mind. And it's all yesterday and tomorrow. How many times do we find ourselves wandering off into yesterday or tomorrow when we've just started today? And this is why so many of us suffer. And when we talk about pain, we're not really talking about, physical pain. We're talking about emotional pain. And we live it. But, it's like we get so used to it that we don't notice it. It's not a bad thing. It's great that we recognize it. As we naturally grow and mature in this life, we realize that our problems cannot be solved by changing the outer world. Have you learned that? We do it, We see that our real issues shift by diving into our inner world, reaching towards our true center, where we can clearly see how each problem is an opportunity for greater enlightenment and transformation. We're all here to ascend into higher levels of consciousness. It's what we do. When we accept this as truth, we can let go of playing the role of the hero, victim, or perpetrator in our lives. This enables us to truly enjoy the natural swing of life's pendulum. And we can fall deeper into this enjoyment as long as we continue to Breathe. The more deeply we breathe, the more we drop our mind chatter, and the easier it is to connect with the divine consciousness at the center of our being. It is here that we find our real power to choose how we wish to relate and respond to each pendulum swing. We can sit back and observe how our mind may try to control the pendulum, avoid it, ignore it, or simply accept it as happening. When we surrender and accept it, we can decide to transcend it completely. Then we are no longer slaves to the good and bad occurrences of this crazy world. Only abiding at the center of our being can we remember that we are the ultimate authority of our reality. This is where our true freedom is. And it becomes obvious that we manifest, what we manifest is purely determined by where and what we are focusing our attention on. To find everlasting peace with the pendulum, we must learn to trust in it. Life is scheduled in these pivotal extremes. Pivotal extremes. So that we stop clinging to it all and learn how to see the grand unfoldment of our soul's journey. Every high and low extreme is designed to crack our hearts and minds wide open so that we surrender to our highest power, the God that we are. And know, without a doubt, that it's possible to manifest anything we want. Without a doubt. The great pendulum swing summons our soul to reach all the way inwards until we are living and breathing a spiritual life. We really we don't care about anything less than this. We want it all. It is from rooting ourselves in our spiritual journey that our consciousness blossoms, making each day more amazing than the last. The real growth of our spiritual path in this life comes from feeling into what's uncomfortable. Our pain pushes us to reach deeper inside, so we are beyond the reach of the pendulum swing, and can find the silent stillness that is unmoving at the core of our being. This stillness is our real teacher in this life. It shows us that happiness is not all about getting what we think we want. It's not about controlling the low swing, remaining in the middle, or staying at the high point. Real happiness comes from knowing we are already truly free. We are free from the ever-changing pendulum and whatever painful extreme it may move into. This freedom feeling is like taking a bath in the eternal fountain of youth, where we naturally recognize our true enlightened nature that always was and will always be beyond it all. How can the eternal self have attachment? It is always pure, untainted, unattached. It is always opening, experiencing presence. You are pure reality. You are the imperishable self. You were never born, you never did prevail, and you'll never die. You are the one, the all-pervading one. The only work is to just drop into what is. Rob Adams. It's good to know is that we came in to experience an initial clinging to life, yet we were not meant to hold on to this clinging forever. If we are getting wrapped up in the drama of our lives, trapped in a negative emotion or heavy thought pattern, We are just overly identified with our mind. We've forgotten we are more than just a body and ego identity. We are an eternal soul that will live forever. This world is made of energy, information, intelligence that is always changing. Whenever we get stuck, fixated, or hooked on any one thing, idea, or expectation, we get hooked into the illusion, and this adds extra weight to our pendulum. Our pendulum becomes spring-loaded. When we hit an extreme, it then catapults back to the opposite direction to reach an even further extreme. The only way to transcend this perpetual intensity and annoying repetition is to return to the stillness at the center that is at our core behind the mind. When we drop deep inside and become super vigilant with our thoughts, we'll be able to see and feel the pendulum swing coming before it actually happened. We notice the mind's preference towards having to have only a positive experience and not a negative one. Again, the more attached we become, the more we suffer in the swing. The next time this occurs, try to become aware or become aware of the experience without becoming identified with the experience. Become aware of the experience without becoming identified with the experience. For example, the mind might say, because this has manifested now, my life is truly good. Or since this just happened, now my life is horrible. This is how the mind gets hooked by the play of life and the divine pendulum swing. Do not get hooked by the judgmental mind. Instead, notice what was it that hooked you. And trust the momentum will soon swing in the opposite direction the very moment you relax, breathe, and let go. I join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us up. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. The essence of eternal life is flowing within you now. Look, where does it come from? You dive just a bit deeper today, you'll be presented with something extraordinary, an essence that contains an infinity of magical possibilities. This is who you really are. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, November 14, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within or without.